edge of the universe, 400 men and women are probing the immeasurable blackness of space. Their leaders are an Earthman with no fear and a stranger with no heart. Travel beyond our time and solar system, into new galaxies, into worlds beyond your dreams. Star Trek, every week, in color.
Well, here it is, Tuesday, October 24th. It's 3 p.m. Pacific Earth time. Means it's time for serious Star Trek. I apologize because anytime you reschedule a StreamYard thing, everything goes kerblooey. So right now, this is streaming on my Facebook, but not on the Serious Star Trek channel or Facebook page. I apologize. I don't know what to say. Watch this on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up while you're at YouTube. Hit subscribe. Put a comment. Do all those YouTube engagement things that help us out, right? You know what I mean? I'm saying these backgrounds don't build themselves. Anyway, let's bring in those dudes. We've got people watching already, so I know the crew will find us eventually. So let's bring in the captain who will help guide us all. The captain of fun. Happy birthday, belated Captain Fun, Larry Young. Hey, Larry.
Happy Thanks, Dan. Yeah, Larry 6.0, my wife calls it. I think that's pretty funny.
Ooh, nice. I do like that. I like that a lot. And maybe, just maybe, you need a little inspection. So let's turn your head and cough for the one and only Dr. John. Hey.
Yikes.
Hey, everybody.
John Price. What's happening? We were just talking football in the green room. I got to finish that because I'd be a proud dad. My kid is just rocking defensive end. I don't really know that level of football, but like seriously, in one season of JV, he surpassed. I know football history from watching games, right? I know who Garo Yepremian is, but like in like 3 weeks, he'd sit and like a Niners game would be going and he'd just say some gibberish and then the announcer would say literally the exact same thing. And he's like, yeah, no. And if you got anything wrong, he's like, yeah, no, that's what the big boys call it. We call it, Falcon 17 or whatever. Like it's nothing. And I'm like, dude, when did this happen? Like last time I knew, he was like, Daddy, help fix my Legos,
Amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, he's doing good.
Pretty great.
He's literally talking about, I think I'm going to make all city on stats. I'm like, hey, easy, kid. Like, don't get cocky.
Yeah, don't get cocky, kid. He's what, a sophomore?
Nah, he's a junior.
Oh, he's a junior? Okay.
He's just a click over 6 feet, and he's about 180. And he eats 6 Chick-fil-A sandwiches at a time.
I was going to say, if it hasn't started already, he might start getting some attention from local universitas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've been checking out my Facebook, but there's this guy that travels around and films all the high school games in the city.
Yeah.
And then makes these little 6 to 10 minute things, treating all the kids like they're in the NFL. And he gets a highlight every time. And so that's cool.
I used to work one of my first jobs out of broadcasting school was working with a guy like that. Could very well be the same guy.
In San Francisco?
Yeah, in San Francisco.
Oh, dude, it's Growing Up City. That's the guy's name.
I just forget the dude's name. It was so long ago. And
I wouldn't doubt it because this guy's been doing it since he was in high school.
It was just a fun gig. It was a fun gig for me to do. I didn't even like sports that much, but it's fun to watch high school, especially.
I just love shit like that. Like whatever the raw data that you get together, whether it's tape or film or comics or whatever, just like putting it all together and making it something cool. And then going, hey, what do you think of this? Like that guy who spends, the entire game and then distills it into some cool 6 or 10 minute thing where it's just him like being enthusiastic as it plays. And I fucking love that. I know how the sausage is made. So when I get to like, this sausage is fucking great, that like means something.
Yeah. My dear departed dad, he didn't watch sports very much, but I remember he always loved the Little League World Series. That was his.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
And it's just like, because it's so raw. It's like there's no. It's just what it is.
That's the pure version, right? It's a kid's game. It's not all the, The Rock and Rob Corddry and Baller, which, by the way, is a great show. I never talk about that show, but I love it.
Which one?
It's a show called Baller, and it stars The Rock.
I've heard of it.
And he basically plays, if The Rock was a football player. It's Entourage with the NFL, basically, and it's great.
Yeah,
I love it. Anyway,
I'm still in the midst of my fiction drought. Maybe it's solidarity with the SAG strikers.
Is that still going on?
The actors,
It is. I mean, we got a better chance of a peace in the Middle East than we do a SAG.
I don't think that's true. Nobody's. I can't even talk about.
They're both on both those negotiations are walking away from the table, and
Gotcha.
and there's nobody seems willing to talk. Could it just be Fran Drescher is that annoying? Nobody wants to deal face to face with her.
It's possible. It's definitely not a 0% chance. We just watched The House of Usher, which is a really cool little thing on Netflix. It's like a miniseries, but it's based on all the Edgar Allan Poe, and it kind of weaves them all together into one giant like miniseries, sort of Netflix style. It's really good. House of Usher, really good. I don't know anything else about it, but it was really good. So, yeah.
What do all the actresses and actors play different characters? Is it an anthology show? Because how's it work?
All the different Poe stories are weaved into the big story.
Oh, it's one big thing. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so like the premise is like the Usher family. This is like the downfall of the Usher family, and it's like chronicling all the kids of the patriarch and all the way, right? But each one of them, I didn't put this together. I'm not really a Poe person, but each one of their stories is like a Poe story integrated into the larger story. It's really well done.
So like a monkey, is there a monkey attack? There's a monkey attack. Yes, there's a monkey mystery. All right, we love it. I love it.
It's sometimes because everybody knows the Raven, so there's a little too much Raven imagery, but it's Poe. What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
but it's really well done. It's really spooky. It's very gross. Like there's a lot of body horror in certain parts. So if you get queasy, but it's pretty good. I recommend it for the Halloween weekend.
It's kind of like a Poe cinematic universe kind of thing, like bringing
kind of. It's pretty good. Again, I'm not really a Poe person, but the science officer is, and she understood all of it. She got all the references.
Chuck's got Bodies on Netflix. I don't know that comic. Do you, Dan?
Never even heard of that one.
From Vertigo, huh?
There is no Vertigo anymore.
No, but I mean back in the day, of course, right? We're watching. I'm just waiting. I found out Shoresy season 2 starts in 3 days, nice. So I'm just waiting for that. I have to be reminded to watch Lower Decks and what's the other one? What were we just watching? I don't even know. Some
Ahsoka?
Yeah, no, wasn't there another sci-fi one? I don't know.
No, I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, I had I had a rough week, so I kind of totally lost the thread of everything. And dude, this was the level of my day. Loki, yeah, thanks, Chris. Of course, it's Loki. I love Loki, and I have to be reminded fucking Loki's on. Like that's a problem with me, not with like streaming and stuff. But so yeah, I just said that to say I'm not going to get to House of Usher until like the 2030s.
Yeah. Well, make sure it's Halloween 2030.
I haven't seen any.
It's very Halloween appropriate.
I haven't seen any Altered Carbon. Like, there's just all this crap I think I would love. That Twisted Metal movie show. I saw the first one actually at San Diego. So I'm like, that's fucking great. And there's like 1,000 people out screaming. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. And I get home and I watch the second one. I'm like, nope. I didn't even like have that was a waste of my time thing. I just was like, nah, I'm gonna just move on to other stuff. It's such a weird time in pop culture, man.
It is.
Like,
it is indeed.
like I was watching the news and they're talking about, oh, this is really, instead of saying this is a weird thing, they go, this is Earth 2. And it's just straight up everybody gets that reference now. Like, fuck, I guess they do, right? It's hilarious.
Multiverse is so saturated. The concept of multiverse is so saturated that you could probably say something like that, and they don't know the specifics of what that.
You get it though, right?
Yeah,
like it's a second Earth. Okay.
But do they know about Earth X, where World War II never ended? That's my favorite of the Earths.
Ooh, that's a good Earth.
Oh, that's Jim Kruger, dude. Can I tell you about good old Jim Kruger? He started his comic career as the marketing guy for Marvel. So that's where I interacted with him, because I was doing all that shit for Hibbs. So he was my liaison at Marvel, and he was I forget exactly how this happened, but he like graduated out, right? He was starting to make more money as a freelance writer as he was on staff, and so that's what that cap shield back there is. It's not a $400 perfect one. That's the shield that they did that for the guy that they hired to play Cap when he went to bookstores and open up grocery stores.
Cool. Nice.
It was the third one ever made. It's like the shittiest fiberglass thing ever, but I love that more than if it was Chris Evans from the movie. Because that's the fucking real proof that I liked Captain America, man. Way before all that fucking just go buy one.
You need a Red Brown style helmet and motorcycle.
If I can pull it off,
I watched this on your recommendation too, guys, and I'm kind of in the same with Chris. I did laugh pretty heartily. I couldn't get whole episodes because I'm just not signing up for Hulu. I'm just not going to do it.
So you're just watching.
You're just watching.
What I'm watching is they had all the cold open clips that were on, and I watched those, and those were funny. They made me laugh for sure.
Cool. Okay. Imagine the rest of the show.
We should acknowledge. Said he couldn't watch House of Usher. He likes his Poe more gothic than that. But I don't know anything. I don't know enough about Poe to even make that critique. So
yeah, I don't really either.
There you go. My wife loves Poe because he's like a Richmond guy. Baltimore, it's really like a Richmond guy. So I don't know. We'll see.
They say it was the first murder mystery. He wrote the first. That was it. Like that was the.
Yeah, he's like he does like murder mystery, like horror. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, Hulu has the Orville. I think not signing up for Hulu is just an error.
There's some.
I would give up a major food group because
and like,
Hulu is very useful.
Did I even try to do it and I ran into some baffling error that just angered me? That happens a lot in my life.
Huh.
I run
into there's
minor struggle.
Hulu's tough.
Dude, here's the thing. I recommend thinking about your dad going because our matriarch went and it immediately made me more accepting of that kind of shit. I'm like, you know what? Fucking whatever. It's another. So like, I literally said that. Mimi just said she doesn't really care either, but she notes this stuff, and she's like, "Oh, hey, Amazon just went up $3 a month," and I went, "Fucking whatever," and she's like, "Yep," because it's just that's okay. We're getting ass raped a little more. That seems par for the course, right?
I remember, I think it was this that they wanted my credit card, even for like, I just wanted a free trial to watch a show one time or something like that. I'm like, no, I'm not going to give it to you.
I luckily have people to deal with that shit for me. I just go, hey, we're not getting stars. Why? And she'll go, yeah, this other thing, get the trailers from this streamer. And I'm like, all right, cool. Tubi's got it. Fine. That's all I need to know. But like, if I had to get that information for myself by research or Hard Knocks, I would just be ending up sitting on the curb, like crying and drinking a 40 and just like yelling at people on the way by because
there's way too much.
It's fucked up, man.
Like I think I just saw Babylon 5 switch to some other weird. I think it is Tubi, and it's like why is this happening? Like I just want to watch Babylon 5.
You know why?
I mean, I know specifics, but like just in general, it's like why are all these things?
Have you been following that Doctor Who thing?
No, I don't.
So this is even better, right? So the BBC starts its own thing called BritBox, and they give all the Doctor Who to BritBox. But because the lawyers are involved, it's like for a particular term, like call it 5 years. I don't know what it is, but it seems like it's about 5 years. So now it's time to re-up, and some other faction of the BBC goes, no, let's get this other like proprietary streamer thing and make everybody get it because they want to watch Doctor Who. And everybody's like, oh yes, whatever the British version of yes, let's get all the money. And except what they didn't account for is back in the 60s, like we know through Star Trek that Harlan owns, the Guardian of the Edge of Forever, the way his contract went. And they waited for his wife to die before they used it because they just didn't want to deal with the guy. So apparently, the guy who wrote the first episode of Doctor Who came up with some very vital stuff. Like it was his idea to put it in the police box, and the TARDIS was his acronym, and just all this fucking shit that nowadays you're like, that guy needs the Siegel Schuster Superman thing, right? And so, but because it's the BBC, they're like, oh yes, well, we just ass rape everyone, colonialism, whatever. And in 1976, the guy is still working, right? But he's working on a show called Poldark, which I don't know if you know is a really good show.
I've heard that's a good show.
Yeah. It's kind of like Horatio Hornblower on land.
Yeah.
And but then he's on series 2 trying to do all this stuff, and people are bugging him about it because the BBC is starting to run the old stuff now in order, and he has a heart attack and dies. Now his son is like 14 or something and grows up to be a fucking supervillain. And now his dad's estate kind of owns some foundational Doctor Who IP, depending on who you're talking to. And there's a huge thing going on with the Daleks because there's a guy named Terry Nation. Every time they use the Daleks, they have to pay his estate because of this very thing.
Ah, really?
So now there's precedence, and this guy now is kind of a like Brexit voter, Trump kind of guy in England. But so everybody's like, oh, just give us Doctor Who. And he's like, no, you don't understand. They killed my dad. And
Fair enough.
It's not they're not going to get this guy because there's no amount of money that fixes this for this guy.
Because back in the old days, they had contracts that gave them some kind of rights and ownership over their stuff.
And the BBC didn't pay him. And so the guy never really went into it because he died in his late 40s, right? Like trying to take care of his family, working like a stiff. And now his son grows up and is like, no, fuck you. And all the Doctor Who fans are like, but we just want to watch the first one all together. And he's like, yeah, I don't care.
That's funny.
So I love that. Like, yes,
that's pretty great.
Yes, just pay that guy. The end of the story is pay that guy.
Yeah.
You know, the end of the story is he's going to say a number eventually just because he's getting tired. And just make sure, just offer him one that's a lot now because every second that goes by, that number goes up.
And it's weird because I mean the BBC is, I mean they pay taxes. People pay a tax to watch commercial-free television in Britain, correct?
Fucking Britain.
I never really understood it, but when you buy your television, you also buy like a subscriber right to
buy a license
to the airwaves.
Yeah,
something like that. So like if you can go buy another TV without doing that because they've proved that you've bought in, right? But like the first TV you buy, you have to. It's like first month's and last month's rent. I know it's the weirdest.
Buy the TV, like how?
I really don't understand it, and
they charge by the rabbit ear.
I'm sure that my little précis right there is full of holes, but because it just doesn't make sense in an equal way to what I just said.
There, you're forgetting that we have British fans. Remember,
that's what I'm saying. If somebody comes in and goes, "No, it's 3%, not 5%," I'm like, "All right, great." What? Hopefully, I got it mostly right. It's weird to Americans. That's
ignorant Yanks.
It is weird. You don't like it. 1776. Never forget.
Also, right, Letterkenny is a fucking great show, and you should really just get Hulu.
I liked what I saw. I'll work through my issues. I don't know. There's so many issues
I don't think so.
Before my Hulu resistance that.
No, just You said all of your issues. You're going to work through your issues. Like first, get some index cards and prioritize them, right? Then Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 issues, right? Some stuff you don't have to deal with right away. And then just like light some incense. That's where you live, that part of California. Don't you do like some kind of like meditation bell or something that you're ringing?
Steve Ukrin says a television license or broadcast receiving license is a payment required in many countries for the reception of television broadcasts or the possession of a television or anything live over the air kind of thing. But like, who is even watching that? I don't even have a TV.
That's like fascism to me.
I hope there's a guy that checks if you've paid for that, like the guy on the bus going tickets. Just some guy knocking on the door. And you have to get up and you're holding your bucket of popcorn and you're in your boxer shorts and shit. The guy's like, yeah, good job. You show me your license.
I think he's.
And you have to. Yeah, no, that's how I know what I know about it. It's because I know that fee funds the BBC. Because every time they add a channel, it's like taxes go up, right?
Yeah, and they make it hard to watch their stuff. They don't want you to stream it from another country either. Like when there's a lot of stuff we can't access.
The last time we were in London, we couldn't the hotel couldn't figure out the TV, and somehow I found a channel playing first season Lost in Space, like the black and white shit from like, and Walker was like, "This is the best thing I've ever fucking seen."
Ooh,
and I'm like, "No, this is the best thing you've ever fucking seen because at least finally there's some American voices, even from the past." Coming out of this fucking television, because all the other nonsense that a hotel is just going to let you do is like people freaking out about mosquitoes in India.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, no, I'm an American.
Saying words that you know.
Channel that I can like it to.
But with the emphasis on different syllables. I get it.
This is Chuck's helping us out here. Chuck is giving us the four. This sounds like fascism to me. They have a van that drives around, check if someone is watching TV, has a license, and they can be fined. You come around to my neighborhood and check my TV, you're gonna find out a problem, federal government. All right, this isn't gonna go down well in the United States of America.
I was just gonna say this is why we revolted. I cannot think of a less American thing than what Chuck just wrote.
Ridiculous.
So here's a good one. I was just reading this great book called End Credits about a chick who's you would know. She wrote for Friends. She's a producer on Breaking Bad, but she got ass raped and Me Too out of TV. So she writes a book about it, and she said this one thing though that like about I forget now. What the hell were we talking about? The license about the TV or something? I don't know. It's what it is. Ordinarily, I'm frazzled and I lose track of what I'm telling a story about. But this is actually for a very good reason. That book is phenomenal, and every page is full of something. And so I kind of do myself. I'm like, which one of the awesome stories that happens every paragraph in this book am I trying to tell? And I forgot, but it was pertinent. Go buy the book. It's called End Credits by Patty Lynn. It's fucking amazing. Anyway, if you care,
I'm writing it down.
Something about the difference between the less American thing, because she's of Chinese extraction, although she is of a first generation American. So that's a lot of problems she has, right? Her parents speak Chinese at home and don't understand like the go-getter Asian thing that was instilled to her at school. So she's like tiger mommed herself, and her parents are like, just be a doctor. Like and she's like, no, I want to write for TV. And that's a third of the book, and it's awesome. Anyway, sorry.
I can't stop thinking about the telly Gestapo in
ridiculous
jolly old England.
Ridiculous with their stupid hats. They have stupid hats. They have hats. It's
absolutely hats.
Thank you for saying that. That's what it was. The difference between Britain and America. So she's telling a story. She's visiting her friend in London, and she sees there's a guy with a stupid hat, the cop, and he's got this guy with handcuffs, and he's obviously arresting somebody, but it's right in front of the lobby of the apartment she's staying in. She doesn't know what to do, because like in America, like that guy be wrestled to the ground and thrown into a car and everything. But this is going like pretty politely. And so she's watching. But now it's weird. There's like this small slip of an Asian girl watching this go down, and so the guy getting arrested like looks up, and that draws the attention of the cop. They both look up at her, and it's obvious, like, what the fuck are you doing? So she goes, I'm sorry, I don't know the protocol or something. I just have to get into this. So this is where I live. Get into this apartment. And they both together at the same time go, sorry, love, and take a step sideways. Like the both of them. Like they instantly get what's going on, and it's like super polite. And it flips her out, and she thinks about it for 20 years until she writes it down in this memoir. And I'm like, that I was thinking that is like the biggest non-American thing I can think of.
No,
until this just now.
until
Like the TV Gestapo.
Well,
that's worse.
you know what? It might be worse. Something that I last week's show we couldn't watch, and one of the reasons we all had different reasons we couldn't make it. But didn't you go see this Taylor Swift movie? I'm actually really very, very interested in that because
I just want credit for not bringing that up, Chad. That was
we saw the movie. That's right.
Because she went outside of, like, there was no studios for that. They directly distributed that themselves to direct to theaters. Mm-hmm. This is a model breaking thing that I think
it's not model breaking. Louis C.K. was doing that.
Well, yeah, but that's not. This is a different scale.
Taylor Swift is a different level.
No,
sure, okay.
To do one live performance at a time and sell tickets for it. This is a movie in wide release, so it's a big difference.
No, it's not. It's only a matter of
she's
scale.
She's going to win a Grammy.
It's a matter of scale, sure.
What is it? An Oscar. She's going to win an Oscar for Best Picture.
If you make a little tennis ball this big and then you make a big tennis ball, everybody goes, oh, that tennis ball is awesome. But it's still tennis ball.
Well, one of the things about Louis C.K. is he had to find non-ticket master venues to be able to do his shows in. And so
He just sold. He didn't even do shows. He would just do a thing and then you would buy it. And then he would just get $5 million one day.
But he would have to find the venues that you could do it in. Whereas this is in the standard movie theaters where there's always been these gatekeepers of the studios and their relationships with the theaters. So I don't know. I find it really interesting. And I think it shows what could be done without the studios and why the studios might be not needed, superfluous.
I'm with Mark. I mean, I'm super interested in Taylor Swift, but not that. Like, why? Why do you care?
Well, it's.
I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, it's a very.
It's a movie.
Fit. Yeah,
but
it's a
even
very
indie
cool
movies need distribution. She doesn't need distribution. Like she does it herself. Because she's Taylor Swift. I don't understand the whole Taylor Swift thing, but that's me.
I think
that's why I don't think it's notable because it's Taylor Swift, right? She she doubled NFL watching ratings just by showing up, right? So like,
right,
So,
but I think the right
it's not impressive to me.
I think the right filmmaker could do that too.
Like, do you think Scorsese could do that?
No, there is no one else that could do that except for Taylor Swift. That's why I don't think it's that notable a thing, and it doesn't change anything because everybody does that. They're just doing it at this level, and so she did it on Taylor Swift level, and like, that's great. I'd rather see her like dancing than talking about.
No, you wouldn't.
And it wouldn't even be Scorsese that would sell the movie necessarily. It would be like whatever crazy cast or whatever. And I don't think that's the right one anyway. It's more like
I should
James Cameron.
I should probably explain my like instant hate of this conversation because this is exactly the same thing as fucking Drew Gaska going, I'm a #1 New York Times best-selling author when you're not. Like, no one is buying that because your book because of you. They're buying it because it says Planet of the Apes on it or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's the same thing with Taylor Swift. Like, you should be fucking going bananas that cancel Louis C.K. can get 1 million people to give him $5 untaxed dollars in like 8 hours. As opposed to Taylor Swift just calls up on the phone and goes, hey, I want to just do a movie, and then that happens.
But
It's
here's
not
the
like
thing.
she's doing it. Who gives a shit?
But John, was this wasn't like a live concert event or anything like that, right? It was just a movie that you went.
No, it's a movie of the concert.
It's like a concert film.
Yeah.
Because they've been doing a lot of these things now where it's like you go to see a live event, you go to movie theaters and they will stream like
They'll
a
stream
live
the event.
concert.
Yeah.
That's what movie theaters seem to be like morphing towards that kind of scenario.
Yeah, no, this is just a concert film. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's literally, and it's almost 3 hours long. Which, and apparently they cut out like seven songs from the final show anyway. So it's like a 3.5 hour show, and the movie is almost 3 hours long. It's the weirdest thing. What is going on with the captain?
So I got
red alert.
I got 2 cans of water going here, and one of them I put all my cigarette butts and various things, and I drank out of the wrong one.
Nice.
I was like, ooh.
Well, anyway, I love anything that bucks that kind of model and gets past the gatekeepers.
It's definitely interesting. I mean, yeah, it's definitely and I've definitely seen articles kind of supporting Dan's position where it's like this is gonna shock the industry, you know, or at least, you know, give a sort of paddle shock to the industry. I don't know if it's gonna change anything. Who the hell else can do that? But
here's
it's an interesting idea.
Here's the other thing. 5 years ago, I'd probably be with you guys. That's fucking bananas. But like, that's just nothing in the pop culture landscape now. Taylor Swift made a movie and they distributed it. Oh, that's fucking, what a shock. Did you know that there's like 16 Lord of the Rings shows now? And you know what I mean? It's like, of course, it's just there's this tornado of pop culture stuff that there's so many more interesting things about Taylor Swift than the movie thing, because that's just repackaging something. It's a concert she did, and here's the movie of the concert.
It's because it's interesting, because the way a concert they would normally make money off a concert would be maybe pay-per-view, live pay-per-view event, sell tickets to it that way, or like these other things like Fathom events. Oops, yeah, I was just clicking.
I just put it up.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like those, that's what I was talking about before. Like those kind of live events, but this is different. This was just made a movie.
Yeah,
it made a movie, distributed. It's still in theaters now, I guess. Right? It's not,
it's not going anywhere. No,
right? Because it's a hit. It's a huge hit. That's
what you do, though, right? I mean, that's why there's a Ready Player 2 book. It's that because people like the first one, and now there's another one, right? So Taylor Swift does a concert that is impossible to get a ticket for a normal person. So the next best thing is you shoot a movie and then have all the normal people go see that and feel like they're in on the.
But who's ever done that before without it being through distributor? Nobody, right? So
the band, Rolling Stones, like everyone ever that's ever done a concert movie.
Yeah, but those were distributed. No, those had director. Those were distributed.
Dude, I don't know why you're hung up on distribution, because who do you think put the movie in to the theaters? They had to deal with all the theater owners. It's just you have to deal with Taylor Swift instead of Universal. This is not groundbreaking in any way.
It is. It definitely.
Why?
It's a humongously groundbreaking thing, Larry.
It's exactly the same thing everyone's been doing.
But it's not. Except it's not. She went around the distributor.
Why it's not? I hate when you do this.
Well, only because it's never
fucking. Tell me why instead of go. It's not. Fucking it's not. Okay.
Look, you're not listening. I just told you it's never been done before.
That's
why it's interesting.
It has, and I told you 3 times how it has.
Wait, the band, you're talking about what, their movie, and how was that direct to theaters and not with distributors? I don't understand what you're.
How is Taylor Swift's not with distributors? This is the part you don't get. I don't think you understand how theatrical distribution works.
Normally, there's a distributor, right? It's sold into distribution and sold that way. She bypassed distribution and sold direct to the theater owners, as I understand it. Now, maybe I'm wrong about this, but that's what I thought was so groundbreaking.
She's acting like a distributor, Dan.
Yeah, but she's not. Okay.
Right, but she's going
And she's
around.
just a girl.
Well, she's
so-
going around, but it's not
but she's
groundbreaking.
going-
I used to do that
okay.
with Diamond all the time. You go around the main.
Maybe
Yeah, Larry,
look, maybe it's not groundbreaking, but it is notable that at the very moment when Hollywood is having this huge issue with labor
That's what I'm
and
saying.
production,
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm
that
saying.
she's finding a way to stick the middle finger to them.
That's
Notable.
awesome.
Even if
Exactly.
even if it's not groundbreaking, that itself is certainly notable.
Yeah, I mean, it's only groundbreaking in theaters and movie distribution. That's what I'm saying. She moved that concept and did that, and nobody's done it before. So I give hats off to Miss Swift.
Do you think she watches
What
Lower
the fuck
Decks?
are you saying, man? That's alternative
No.
facts, and I can't let you keep
All
saying that. It's not what you're saying is not true. No one has done that before. Yes, they have.
Okay, who's I don't understand then. I guess I don't understand why everybody's making a hullabaloo about it and why it's
Because
different.
it's Taylor Swift who did it. That's the hullabaloo. That it's all just fucking advertising and marketing and feeding the machine, and you're just biting into the same shit that they're just feeding everyone. And it's like, that's cool for her. That gets all the fat girls in Iowa to go see this movie, which is it's never been done before. It's the crime of the century. It's the same fucking thing.
But I think what it can do though is it might inspire others to go like, hey, we don't need to go through a distributor. We can make these deals. If we have a good enough product, we can sell it direct into a movie theater, which is something new in the age of streaming, especially. It's like,
why would you do that?
How do you monetize? Why? For the same reason. That's why I wondered why she did it as opposed to all the other ways that they usually do that.
Because she's Taylor Swift and she just got all the money. So you and me and John make a Star Trek movie, and that doesn't happen because nobody gives one shit.
Right. But there's other people who are the
I think some
entertainment
people
level
give a shit.
equivalent. But there's other people who could put together a movie who are the entertainment level equivalent of a Taylor Swift, who could then bypass distribution. And maybe they're going right now thinking, oh, maybe I could do that. And then not have to use the studios. The studios we're at a real point of demarcation just in the industry right now. There's so much things that the future's uncertain about. I think it's really pretty interesting.
Well, as Chuck says up here in the comment that I can't highlight, but one of you certainly can. Nolan, the great Christopher Nolan, thought it was great that no studio would distribute her film. And so instead, she made a deal and is raking in the cash, which I think is the overarching sort of message behind the whole thing is instead of having a middleman, she just went directly for it and is getting all that money because she's Taylor Swift. Swifty Trek. Swifty Trek indeed. Yep. What's your favorite Taylor Swift album?
I like the redo of 1984. That's a groundbreaking thing that she's done that is worth talking about because some fucking guy got the rights to her album.
Yes.
And she went, you know what? That doesn't work. I need to sue you. And they're like, go ahead and sue me. This is all mine. She goes, no, you know what? I think better of it. I'm going to do redone versions of these songs and no one's going to give a shit about the stuff you own. And that's groundbreaking because
she just re-recorded all of her albums.
That's amazing. Fucking amazing. I love that.
It's pretty great. I'll give her credit. She knows what she's doing. You know, she definitely knows what she's really doing.
Yeah, she's led the fight in a couple of different ways too. Over the pulling her stuff from Spotify. I remember she was early on a big fight in the streaming thing, and she was right. But it's like that doesn't seem to have helped. I don't know if she's struck a deal with them or not. At this point, can you stream Taylor Swift, or do you have to buy the albums?
I don't know. I haven't tried lately.
That's where my Taylor Swift interest is.
Yeah, I don't have any. I could name one song, "Shake It Off." I think it was a catchy tune. I liked it.
I like the one where she's lyric and she calls everybody a sexy baby. I like that song, and that's about it.
I like her Annie Hall level of fashion, and I was a big proponent of casting her in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for a long time.
That would have been good.
I thought they do a little tasteful blue and gray kind of scarfy thing, and she's like the latest agent telling you something to do. Like, come on, that's just.
I like her cameo in New Girl. She has a great cameo in New Girl. I forget which season finale it is, but it's season 3, season 4 finale. It's pretty great. So
Look at Philo.
favorite Halloween themed Star Trek episode. That's a great question.
I'm gonna go with Cat Spot. I think.
Okay, that's an interesting choice. Not really a Halloween episode, but it's an interesting choice.
I love
Okay.
how you kind of don't get that. You just don't see anything Halloween in that, huh?
I mean, I get it, but like,
Wow.
honestly, I'll be 100%.
Don't make me get it.
I'll be 100% because I would not care if that other guy who's never posted ever before didn't immediately be like, "You're an idiot. Of course it's a Halloween episode." And that just sets me right off. And I'm all of a sudden I'm a 4'11" teenager ready to swing. I'm ready to go for it. So other than that, yeah, I mean I get it. There's like Black Cat and there's the
Witches
and witches and stuff. But I mean the plot has nothing to do with Halloween. This isn't like a Die Hard situation,
When does a Halloween episode ever really have to do with Halloween, except on a sitcom where they're going, trick or treating or something?
That's a great question. Why is
Halloween's like a vibe, man? It's like,
why is Halloween a holiday? I want to know. We are not, in fact, druids. So
is it a holiday?
What is the what's the whole
it's
point here?
The night. It's the night before All Saints Day.
Mm-hmm. It's when the planes of existence are at their thinnest.
It's
so that the souls.
It's a way to sell candy. It's another candy holiday.
So Tuesday.
So the souls can transgress between the two back and forth during the night, which is why you have to bring gourds and put candles in your gourds to light the way for the ghosts.
Do you know what Mark's
None of that is in Cat's Paw, by the way.
Do you know what Mark's talking about? A lost
Rage Virus episode. Hell yeah.
What?
Oh, that we will never get to see. No, I don't. I thought
what?
Rage Virus wasn't that like the first episode?
Yeah, maybe. That's why I think he's talking about something that they're either like revisiting it or doing something else.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I love Lower Decks. Don't get me wrong. I still love Lower Decks, but I find myself fading in and out of episodes this year. And I don't know if that's just. 100%. I don't know if that's just me.
Well, it's coincidence then, because it's me too. In fact, I haven't seen the latest one, and I haven't seen Badgie either. I just fucking hate Badgie.
Yeah, Badgie.
So,
I like the first episode with Badgie. I thought it was clever and it was fun. And now it's like the 7th Badgie episode. I'm like, oh, good. I don't need it.
And they're selling little toys and posable ads.
They're trying to make it Baby Yoda. It's just not happening.
It's not for me.
Yeah. There's this most recent episode. They're all stuck in a cave, and it's kind of a joke on the fact that half of the episodes of Star Trek in any show they're all take place in a cave. But it's so
do they ever actually bring up holidays in Star Trek? Like, is Halloween a thing in an actual episode?
No.
Captain Picard Day.
And then there's kind of the weird when he's in the Nexus and they're doing like Christmas with his weird like little British family that doesn't exist.
They've acknowledged Christmas. They've done,
but that might be the closest. Dr. Noel at the Christmas party.
Yeah.
So references to Christmas, I think, is the most we're gonna get.
But
Charlie X mentions Thanksgiving according to Sagasag.
But I can't ever remember definitely not like a trick or treating Halloween.
No, there's definitely not like a Thanksgiving episode. No.
I wonder if that just disappeared in the future.
I would hope so. Because I mean, you have to remember, for as Americanized as it is, because it's a TV show. The whole point is that we're moving past, like Roddenberry specifically said, like this is a post-religion society. Like we are not. Talking about religions. Of course, they talk about religions here and there, and of course, there's allegories to religions. But in terms of like what people actually believe, this isn't like an exploration of a person's personal faith. That was sort of the
thing.
So I imagine it's a similar thing with holidays. Yeah.
On the ship, of course, right? Like, I guess I get that. It would be like there is no religion or there's nothing.
Right. Here's the thing that stood out to me as a boy. Like, I loved Balance of Terror, and even though they go in the dialogue, go out of the way to say, since the beginning of sailing ships, the captain's been, had this luscious thing where I get to bone her first, and then good luck,
Yeah.
or whatever. But
Classic Kirk.
the thing that stood out to me is that like they were both kneeling down, like it was a church thing. The two people getting married, and I thought that was really cool. And even because I just was really annoyed by church as a kid. I give that like a solid C for the storytelling. It's just so average. Anyway, I was always bored in church, and so standing up and kneeling used to be like the thing I looked forward to. Like if I could do that, and so it really stood out to me. Like you can't fucking get away from this. Now the Star Trek people are kneeling down.
I hated that part.
And it's called the chapel, right? I think it's called the ship's chapel.
Yeah, but that's sort of the non-denominational,
right, sure,
military thing,
sure.
right?
Yeah,
I think you're right. Though.
I watched a great YouTube video. I meant to bring the link to it about why there are conservative Star Trek fans. I thought it was really good. Yeah, this is hilarious. That's my favorite episode.
That right there is why I love Mark Espinosa. Because that makes total sense to him, and he's writing it right now. Good job, Mark. Yes. Anyway,
nice. Yeah. So what is it about Lower Decks this year? Is it apathy or not apathy? But is it like are we the problem?
I can tell you what my problem is. It was the live action Strange New Worlds thing.
Right.
Just killed it fucking dead.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, that's what I want. Give me that. Make that show.
Oh, Larry saw the non-cartoon version. He's like, yes.
Right.
The cartoon version is inferior now.
You can't go back.
Now you have something to compare. I get it.
They proved that it's lame. There you go. Anyway.
They proved it's possible. They proved it's good. So do that.
I can't wait for the Taylor Swift crossover episode because it's never been done before, Larry.
I would do that. Taylor Swift and Star Trek. I think we all know that's been a really good, positive thing in the world of Star Trek. Like Ashley Judd in a Star Trek uniform.
Oh yeah.
I think
Terry Hatcher
in a Star Trek.
Like uniform. Both of them were like they weren't big names yet, right? That was before they became Yeah, I love that part.
Kirstie Alley.
Yeah, I'm just talking hot girls in Star Trek uniforms. I don't have a political agenda on that. Just put it in the shapely curved thing with the angular thing with a little arrowhead.
I don't have an issue. I don't have an issue with them getting promoted, and I know that is some issue. I've seen articles about like they ruined Lower Decks by promoting them. Now they're not longer. It's okay, but you are progressing the story forward, and they are kind of dealing with it now. Decks to take place forever. Like, so at some point is McMahon trying to build himself a kind of trap door, a kind of like, hey, if they cancel this tomorrow, we've told enough of the story sort of situation. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
How popular would you say? I mean, Lower Decks is, do you think, viewership wise compared to say like, I don't know, Strange New World? Seems like those are probably the two strongest, right? Those are the two. But yeah.
I think the live action shows have a ton more viewers.
Yeah.
But I mean,
more than Prodigy.
Yes.
I could have.
Lower Decks. We got to talk about Prodigy, by the way. Lower Decks has a small, but I would think probably a strong. It probably gets very consistent numbers, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah. And it probably is a lot cheaper than any of the other shows, so they don't need it to have giant numbers. Prodigy was bought by Netflix, and Netflix is showing season 2 of Prodigy. So was that their fucking plan the whole time, to kind of whore out Prodigy? Because if so, fuck them.
Well, yeah. Look what happened to the first season of Discovery, man.
Well, I was just going to say, this is not the first time they pulled shenanigans with all this nonsense.
Yeah. That's why at some point talking about like the behind the scenes moves is just, it starts to lose its interest for me, because the answer is always some fucking idiot thing that they did because of some other bullshit that nobody knows about. Like, so,
and if this was the plan, they sure as hell didn't tell the Prodigy creators, guys, because they were giving interviews.
Right.
I don't know what's going on. Like, sorry, I don't have to tell you. Like, they weren't politically denying it. they were straight up like, we don't know what's going on. So I don't know.
That's
I don't
weird
know.
how their contracts must have worked then, because then it
Yeah,
sounds
I
like they
don't
picked up their option at the last minute if they're working on the second season.
Yeah, they're working, like they're in the middle of working on
cartoons
it.
is like that's
Yeah.
a bigger schedule.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, by the time we see those cartoons, they've been done for months.
Yeah, years sometimes.
Yeah, years. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really
Like,
know what's going on.
Chris
with Lord of-
Sagasag just found out that Rutherford is Filipino.
Oh yeah.
That must be
Samantha
years,
Rutherford?
because I know Chris watched The Good Place because he's one of the people who told me to watch it. And so that's Pillboy, man. That dude could look more Filipino if he tried. Anyway, he's great. He was great in The Mandalorian. Did you see Pillboy in The Mandalorian?
I don't remember who he was.
Remember the episode, the fucking Yojimbo episode? They go to the village and he falls in love and takes his helmet off.
Yeah.
Pillboy is one of the farmers in the beginning.
Oh, okay.
He's got a couple lines. He's a 2-line day player in that one.
I'll have to rewatch it. I do like Mandalorian. I really like the Star Wars.
See,
shows,
this is
man.
what I'm talking about. Dan with his stuff where he just says his alternative facts of like Chris Sagasag turned Larry onto The Good Place, and it turns out that was not true. So we have to apologize for that. Sorry for putting out the bad facts.
We need a fact checker.
Fact checker. What happened to it? What happened?
Because I still don't understand what I said. That was
we
right.
just need to respect each other. That's all.
I
I'm
still
telling
don't
you
understand
how it
what-
works, and you're like, no, okay.
I still don't
What
understand what we disagreed on. I honestly don't.
Okay.
Verified. That's what we disagreed on. Verified.
I'm with
I
Philo
don't know.
about that NBC CBS thing, except I that's happening to me with Frasier, because Frasier was an NBC show, and now I'm trying to find Old Man Frasier Network TV, and it's like, fuck, it's on CBS. Are you kidding? And so that's one good thing about being old, is that at some point I just pick up my remote and go, computer, like I'm Scotty, except I say Frasier, and it gives me all the Frasier. There's boxing fights with Joe Frazier.
Yeah.
Frasier 2023. Oh, that's the one I want.
Nice.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah, there will definitely be a consolidation of these things.
People
If
have been
only
saying
because-
that for a while. I don't know.
Well, there's also just I think the market will make it contract, because you can't.
Yeah.
Now they charge you for the pipe, the bandwidth that you're paying for. You're paying a huge amount for that already, and then you're layering in all these services, IP services on top of it. It's like,
Well, what's going to happen is the big boys are going to keep raising their prices, at which point families are going to start doing the math and be like, well, I'm going to keep the big boys and I'm just getting rid of Paramount. I'm just getting rid of,
I think so.
Peacock, whatever.
I think so too.
And I'm still going to spend the same amount of money, except now I'm paying these three because I can't afford to get this one, right? And it's only $5, but they're raising theirs by $5. I'm dropping them for $5, right? That's sort of me. I think that's what's probably going to happen, because that's what I'm going to do.
If they could do a la carte everything, that would be ideal. Like if I could just
would be amazing.
Just the shows I want to watch for a reasonable amount of money, and I would probably do it.
Yeah.
I just want TV Guy to come back and tell me what's where.
Dude, there is a market. There is a market out there for like a streaming TV guide.
Yeah, there is.
There is. Impossible job.
Yeah, there is. There was. You know what I missed? I missed every fall. They would have a special on primetime TV that would show all the new cartoons, all the Saturday morning cartoons that were coming for the year. And they give you a little piece out of everyone, and just show you. It was just like, oh man, what this year has in store for me. That was like my favorite. I definitely look forward to that every fall.
My favorite was the Battle of the Network Stars.
Oh yeah,
it was the same kind of thing. Everybody gets together and play.
How have they not done that? Brought that back? Except that there's no network stars anymore, I guess is the problem.
I would imagine that there's liability issues that they didn't care about in the 70s. That everybody's got a lawyer now, because there's some fucked up shit that happened in that.
Scott Mayo on a unicycle.
I remember Lou Ferrigno and what's his name? Not Pete Conrad. He's the astronaut. William Conrad? No, that's the guy from James Conrad. I don't know. The guy from Wild Wild West. Robert Conrad.
Robert Conrad.
Yes, he was the best. But they got into it about that. There was a thing about knocking a battery off. They had commercial at the time that was like, that was a thing. Like, this was the real rugged macho battery, and you put it on your shoulder and like, come and knock it off, and I'll fucking beat you up like this battery. And so he was the spokesman. And he put it on there, and Lou Ferrigno went up and went think, and then he didn't know what to do because it's the fucking Hulk. And that was like in the National Enquirer for like 3 weeks, like following like the beef they had. It was awesome. Anyway, tales before the internet.
I also miss Saturday morning cartoons too. Like, I missed that there was a special ghetto for cartoons. You know. And then sometimes you'd go on and you watch it and it would be interrupted by like a football game or something.
Yeah, because they figure the kids, who cares? Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Oh, I hated it.
I liked Voltron. That's my contribution. to this.
Steve Carell at Anchorman.
Voltron was syndicated to like as a weekday one. I think that's how I remember seeing it. Definitely not as a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, I would watch Lower Decks Saturday morning. Well, Saturday morning would be better than Thursday night. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. My kids are not allowed to watch cartoons most of the week, so like Saturday morning is the one time when like we make it a special time for cartoons.
Yeah. They really boned that one. Fucking networks.
Now
the sigh of the old white man.
Yeah, there's a never-ending flow, dude. It's all the stuff we wanted the most when we were kids. Like, there was just the trickle of sci-fi when we were kids and cartoons and stuff, and now it's just a full-on fire hose blasting all day long every day.
It's true. It's very true.
Yeah. So yeah, it's starting to wear. It's grating.
Is it a problem? I mean,
it's not. It's not.
Okay.
Because what I think about is that, like, what did we grow up to? We had what we had, and we grew up to be super fans. Kids today, they're going to gravitate towards the stuff that is good. They'll have a lot more to choose from. The bar is higher on the quality of it. So I think, good new stuff will emerge.
Are they killing super fans, though? Like, is anyone going to grow up today and be a super fan in 20 years?
I can tell you what has happened to my kid.
I think everyone will.
Everyone's still going to be the fans of the same stuff. It's just the content delivery system is different.
Right.
Like, he fucking loves Batman, and he knows all the artists, all the writers and stuff, but he reads it on his pad, and he gets history stuff from these cards that he collects, and fucking NFTs they scan. Like, it was like you had to read books until about 10 years ago, and now you don't. That's all.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
But it's cool because all the information is there. Like, I want to watch the first season of Hogan's Heroes. Like, here it is, man. It takes longer to say that than put it on.
But what I think will happen is we'll still have super fans, John. People will be super fans, but it'll be like, I'm a super fan of this thing that you've never even heard of.
Yeah,
it's not like
specific.
It's not like Trekkie. Oh, that guy's a Trekkie, and everybody knows what Star Trek is, and he's really, that Larry guy is really. Did you see what he wore to the bank? But you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was fucking screen accurate.
Now I see Comic-Con. I see kids going to Comic-Con, and they're dressed up in amazing anime costumes. That's like super rich in backstory. You can tell just by looking at the way anime stuff is. Like, there's like a ton. There's just a richness to it. But I'm like, I don't know at all what that is.
Yeah,
and most of the time, that stuff that I'm seeing, it's video games. Kids are so into video game.
Yeah, it's true.
Microcultures. Because I go, what's the one video game thing? Like, what's the most popular video game? Are you guys into it at all? I'm totally.
Walker just killed his mother to get the Miles Morales Spider-Man 2 for PS5, and is presently doing that. So I think it's just whatever the new game is.
I hear Starfield. I hear all these names, but there's never.
Starfield's just Xbox though, so it's not something that everybody can get.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, that speaks to your point though. That like
even more fractionalization. Yeah, right.
Is getting there'll be a super fan of Like that's those hero cards I tell you about that Walker collects.
Yeah.
Like one side it has art, and the other side has an NFT that represents that card. So you can sell that and get actual fucking money, and but you still have you still own the card. So he actually sold one for $22. Like, Jesus. But what is that? Oh, some guy's he needed that card to get his set, right? And so I think there's going to be stuff like that because there's a whole community about that.
Yeah.
And so people, like, he'll say to me something like, he'll just walk by and open up a card and go, A49. And I know what he means, right? That's a really low number on the Epic scale. But like, and he's probably telling me that's the lowest card that he has so far, that beats his current lowest. But you know what I mean? Like there's always like a secret handshake for no matter what you're into. Like this, right? Like that says Exeter. You need to have a layer of Star Trekiness.
It's just, but will there ever be another pop cultural thing that can be like Star Trek, like such a generalized worldwide?
I mean, the MCU was definitely that.
It's huge. I think it's a contender. I think there's going to be more comic fans, more fans of those characters, and I think the only new comic fans will be because of kids that saw those movies and are excited about those movies. Maybe, hopefully.
The next global thing, though, is going to be something we can't predict. It's going to be like, Taylor Swift, right? That's the thing that's being fueled by social media. And she gets to do what she wants.
But it could be Japanese too, just like the.
It definitely might be.
I'll tell you why. As a dad from a high school thing, there's such a pushback on all that fucking K-pop, Hello Kitty.
Oh, it swung back the other way.
Like, that's what's going on in the streets now.
Okay, yeah.
Oh my god! Like I just kind of got a chill because, like, fuck, I hope Walker doesn't watch this one because he's gonna hear that. Like, oh yeah, him and his crowd, their entire school actually is they're revolting against it.
Good,
very interesting.
Good,
because I really
maybe that's just San Francisco.
I just assume because all the kids raised on Pokemon and all this stuff that will be the next big wave.
Like Sagasag.
Well, right. And to the point, I mean, K-pop was huge. If it's coming back around, that's great. My students are always talking about anime, always. And it's always weird animes and they use the word anime to just mean animation, which really drives me insane. I'm like, no, anime is a specific genre. Thank you. Okay. But they're always talking about like these weird, like, oh my God, you haven't seen Seal of the Skinwalker 14. I'm like, no, like
it always sounds like some military code for a mission because it doesn't really make English sense.
Yeah,
it's always like Marmalade Dolphin.
Like, oh my God, how have you not read this anime, seen this anime? Like, what are you talking about?
The kids that are super passionate about comics that I knew, like when I was running my store, the ones that there were still kids that bought some regular comics, but the ones that were super like, where's the next one? I can't wait. It was manga for sure. They were so into that. What's it called? And all these names are so mystifying to me. There's no point of entry for me into Naruto and stuff like that, and One Piece and all this stuff. And now One Piece is humongous as a live action Netflix show.
But do you care? I mean,
no,
I love it. I love it. I think
it's awesome, but it's like I don't care that something's going on that's people like that I don't care about, and that's the weird thing that I think everyone's having to adjust to, because when you're a fan of sci-fi, you just had to eat Buck Rogers season 2.
True. That's right,
and because that's all that was on, and now
that's absolutely what it is. That's
now you can get really snooty and like. Yeah, I don't give a shit about Sandman. I'm glad they did it. I know a bunch of people loved it, but like it doesn't bother me that I'm never gonna watch it.
But you think about
that's weird.
But like think about it, in like the late 80s, if you were like a sci-fi fan, you watched like 4 or 5 movies that came out in one summer. Maybe if even that many. 2 or 3 really good. There's like they always show those movie you ever see those YouTube Facebook posts that are like, oh, the marquee when it was like Predator and RoboCop and like Die Hard and whatever, and it's like you could, but you just watch those few, which is really just a few hours of your time, and then you could talk with everybody about all the latest, coolest stuff. Where now you couldn't, there's not enough time in the day to watch all the super cool stuff, be able to talk to everybody about it anymore. And there's just so few of those, you know, giant touchstone things. I just wonder if there ever will be one thing like that again. But I guess
I'm sure it'll circle around eventually.
Barbie maybe is going to be.
I mean, the distribution method is going to be it's always the key.
If only Taylor Swift can innovate again. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I want to see.
It's just look, it's T Swift's world. We're all just living in it.
You know, John, you totally get credit for that in my life. Like, I had no idea who this chick was, and like early Thunderdome, you were like in love with her. And
she's had like a 20-year career. She's
like
35. She's like 35. She's had a 20-year career. It's
one of the biggest stars of all time. It's what's amazing. Yeah. There's all these people that, to me and Larry, don't. It's like, who? That chick who did she win that game show? And then like she's still doing music? That's how I look at it. Like I've heard one song from her in all that time, but she is.
I guarantee you've heard more than one song. I guarantee. Have you been in a store?
Oh,
they play Taylor
elevator.
Oh, I'm sure at the sushi restaurant they play the most obnoxious pop music ever. That maybe it's to get me to leave faster. Yeah. Speaking of leaving, guys.
She has great legs.
Speaking of leaving, wait a minute. Oh, that sound. You know what that sound means? We're actually over our usual time. We got into this. We got into the Swiftian controversy.
Yeah, let's get those Swifty numbers up. Swifty Trek.
Maybe I'll have to
watching Star Trek.
I'll have to come up with a good Swift pun. Guys, by the way, throw out your puns and thumbnail ideas in Facebook for me because I'm running out of pun steam.
The thumbnail today was amazing. I really love that thumbnail.
Thanks.
It was good stuff.
I did actually try to identify the spacesuit. And then I was like, oh, AI again. You fooled me.
It's Blender. Yeah. Plus,
it looks real, man.
It's a mixture. It's a mixture of things. Anyway, we'll be back next week, guys. It'll be Tuesday, right? We're going to come back next Tuesday. Everybody in? John?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
John, any Elton John concerts maybe, or what? I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right.
Science officer in charge of the schedule.
Won't limit fade all. All right. Well, we'll make it back Tuesday, and there'll be another controversy, and we'll get into another fun conversation. It'll be Tuesday. It'll be 3 p.m. Pacific Earth time. But Dr. John, always the calm, cool, collected member of the crew. Where is it going to be?
On the internet.
I'm Sonny Tufts.
I'm Gloria Jean.
Join us here on WCBN ZHYO TV right here in Scarsdale.
For the most exciting new show since Whiplash, Space 1999.
A firecracker explodes, sending the moon into a complete tizzy.
And making all of us totally wacko.
Come with us and our co-star, S.C. Sackcow.
Space 1999. It's going to be a very, very good year.
Well, fair.
Not too bad.
Come see, come saw.
Well, good enough for Abe Mandel.
For Abe Mandel.